Guys, assalamu alaikum. Happy Wednesday. I hope that everyone's day has been successful. Inshallah, we continue to have a blessed week. It is raining. It's beautiful. I like the rain when I'm inside. However, tonight, as you guys know, it's Wednesday, so it's Momming with Autism with a dose of my life, business, relationships, whole bundle of goodies, right? But before I even get started on the topic that I really want to talk about, I just want to say, particularly to all like my Muslim brothers and sisters that do follow me, I hope that we all had a successful month, and I hope that inshallah we can continue all the practices that we have been taking on for that month. One of the things I'm always like super grateful for and happy about was when I first decided to convert or revert, let me say that's the better word, to revert to Islam. One of my very, very important reasons was I needed to be able to make sure that I am being a good example and I'm leading my daughter in the right path. So it's always like real refreshing and like a beautiful feeling every time I see how much she loves the Salat. I see how much she loves to recite the Al-Fatiha. I see how much she just loves everything about Islam, and it's just always like confirmation. I always pray that, may Allah keep both her parents on the right path and we continue to guide her the best way as possible. However, today I wanted to talk about honoring the seasons we're in and finding the blessings in everything, right? This topic came to me like a few weeks ago. For whatever the reason, Allah knows best, I did not do the live, but I'm going to do it today. And it's titled Honoring Your Seasons, right? So it came to me like a few weeks ago when me and one of my very good girlfriends were having a conversation. Should I say my sister? Me and my sister was having a conversation, and we were talking about like being in particular spaces and how difficult it is to like really focus and get things done. And I remembered when I was going through my very difficult spiritual transition and how difficult it was for me to like, and then at the same time my daughter was diagnosed with autism a few months after, as I was going through this transition. So emotionally I was a wreck. Mentally I was just like spaced out. And I remember, because I always believe that different seasons require different things, and sometimes when you're in specific seasons, it just really requires a level of stillness and just being present and just allowing yourself to really go through the emotions and grow through them. And so I felt like it was important to share this because I do believe that a lot of us, including myself, including people I know, people I've experienced, we do not allow ourselves to honor the seasons we're in. We're always looking to get over this hump real quick, to get to the next phase, to get this done, to fix this, to be right? And sometimes the mess that we're in and our current circumstances is right. It's just right because that is Allah's will at that time where you're supposed to be. So it's time for us to just slow down and give ourselves that opportunity to, one, honor our feelings, honor our thoughts, honor our mental health, because the further we pull away from what's really happening instead of allowing ourselves to be present to it, we're only doing ourselves a disservice, because later on it's going to show back up, right? And of course we see things and we want to do so much more because we're naturally, I believe that everybody has creativity inside of them. It just comes out in different ways. And so as we're dealing with life, there's still that side of us that is so eager to want to be right and to do right and to get some things done. But until we are whole and complete with what our circumstances are, I firmly believe it is impossible to just jump into the next thing, right? And then there are other seasons, like for myself, the season I'm in right now is like, it's a huge transition, right? But I'm handling it and I'm taking time, and that's why I said support is important. And thank God for having people around me, including my clients, that they allow me to know that it's okay, even though I know this, but I have people in my space that allow me to feel free in whatever mood I'm in that moment, whatever my emotions are, whatever my thoughts are. They give me that grace. They don't just see me as the person that, has all the answers or got it all together all the time. Even though they expect that from me, they leave the door open for when I do have that moment of, I need ears, I need shoulders, I need to cry, I need to vent, right? And that's very, very important. So I count every obstacle, every challenge, every mishap, every emotional moment that I have as a blessing, because for every moment that I experience something different, I also learn something, right? I learn something new. I gain a new perspective about myself. I'm able to take accountability for my role. I'm able to see where I need to adjust in specific areas, and it helps me to become a better person daily. And I know that life has been probably not the same for many of us since COVID, right? And we've all just been wondering and trying to figure out how to just adjust to new orders, new things that's happening around us and for us. And that's normal. It's normal, it's natural. But I really do hope that we begin to, as people, honor ourselves a little bit more, honor the seasons we're in, honor the feelings we're having, honor the desires that we have, honor ourselves in just taking care of ourselves. Because a lot of us naturally are givers at heart. And me and my sister, we struggle with this a lot. And even my mother, we struggle with this a lot, because I feel like I constantly have to remind and say, having a good heart and being a giver doesn't mean you always have to give to others. Sometimes being that giver and having that big heart, you just have to reserve some of it for yourself. You have to hold on to some of that for you, because when you're giving and no one else around you is able to give anything back to you, sooner or later that well is going to run dry. And so we must give to ourselves, and then we must work to change our environment, to put ourselves in places where we're not always the giver. We're in a position to now receive, not that we're lacking or anything, but it feels good for anybody when you're in a position that you know you can give, and you know you're a person that genuinely gives to everyone, but there's someone and people around you that's now ready to pour into you as much as you've been pouring into others. But I always say that no matter what the experiences are, no matter how hurt you've been in life, don't let anything you experience change who you are at your core. You may become a little bit more strategic. You may become a little wiser. You may pay more attention, and you're not so freely giving away yourself to people that are undeserving, right? But for those that are watching, and for anyone that comes to watch after, that is a question I want you guys to ask yourself and wholeheartedly answer to yourselves. Are you honoring the seasons that you're in? Are you giving yourself grace? Are you giving yourself time to be in that space? Are you giving yourself time to reconnect with yourself? Are you giving yourself time to really know who you are, what you want, what you need, and how to go about these things? And conversations that you're having with people are important. You know, it's good to open up when you have people that you can trust to have specific conversations with, because it helps to shed a different light on the way you're feeling. It helps you to feel empowered in, you know, your emotions at that moment. Like dealing, when I first off the back dealing with when my daughter first got diagnosed with autism. It was not something I talked about. It was not something I shared. I wasn't even sharing her. Like now you guys see I'm getting comfortable with like sharing her, right? Sharing little clips of her and who she is and her personality. But before, I was guarded. I felt like I had to protect her. I felt like I had to hide her from everybody because I was afraid of people having lack of knowledge, a lack of understanding of what's going on, and I didn't want to come off defensive. So I thought the best result was to just be protective and to, you know, be closed off with that. So only myself and her father would experience, you know, in our close family, everything that comes with her, right? And it's like, if it wasn't for like reconnecting with good friends, sharing with close people that I trust, and having different conversations with different people that just like really empower me every single day, because it's like I'm the only one that was afraid. No one else is approaching this way. She doesn't approach life that way, so why am I putting that on her? right? So the more empowered I am based on the support that's around me and based on just the love and understanding that I have for my daughter, the more it helps me to be better, right? And it changes my perspective. And I've always been hopeful about the future and how things would evolve with her. And it's so amazing because I've literally been watching her like transform before our eyes daily. I see a lot of huge differences. I see her maturing into herself, and still spoiled, still demanding, still on her own time, but it's a special kind of adventure being her mom. So the thing that I once thought was like this huge burden has really evolved into something that I consider a huge blessing for us, like being her parents. And I'm sure I speak for my husband as well. Being her parent is an adventure in itself, but it's so unique and it's tailor fit just for us. But I can't say that it's always been that. We've always been feeling this way about it. And so that's why I say it's important to honor our feelings and honor our emotions, because the moment that I allowed myself to be honest with myself about how I was feeling about her diagnosis, I was beginning to heal. No, things didn't change like overnight, but I didn't rush myself. I took my time, and even when I thought I was ready and I would put a little out there, I still was pulling back. So, you just have to have grace, know where you are, don't put too much on yourself, and just realize that everything happens in its right order and its timing. Where you are is exactly where you deserve to be, is exactly where you need to be. Because one of the things I always say, you will never give a child a certain amount of money and send them into a candy store, right? So why, as adults, we believe that even when we know we're not the most responsible with our time, with our finances, and with some very important things, why do we believe that God is just supposed to bless us with more and give us these things frivolously when all we're going to do is squander it, right? So sometimes when things aren't happening in the time and the order that we want it to happen, it just makes sense for us to take a step back and ask ourselves, like, where am I? Am I really ready for this? Am I really mature enough for this level that I'm asking for? Can I handle it? Because once we're real with ourselves and we're honest with ourselves, we can go through that level with ease and understanding that in this moment, all I can do is continue to work on myself so that I can evolve. I can work on the areas that I'm struggling so that when I do receive whatever blessings is in store for me, I'm ready for it. I'm able to manage it well. I'm able to appreciate it. I'm able to, continue to put in the work, because overnight success will go as quick as it comes. But it's that journey. It's the highs and lows, those new adventures and experiences that you have that will always mean so much more to you in the long run. And it's the adventure, it's the journey that people will be able to relate to and to connect to. So I say that everything we experience in life is for us to evolve, but it's also for us to help someone else. And it's also important that we allow ourselves to be open-minded so that we can be great supporters for our friends, our family, because none of my girlfriends don't have children with autism. My one girlfriend that we speak on a daily, she doesn't have children with autism, but her level of understanding, her love, her empathy, her patience, and her kindness towards it, even when I'm not the most patient in that moment, it means a lot to me. It means a lot because it helps me. It recenters me. Even if I don't say it, and in that moment I'm still probably irritated by something that she did. Her take and her approach gives me a sense of like, it's not that bad. Calm down. So support is necessary no matter who it's coming from, as long as it's genuine. But we can't get support if we're not willing to open up about the things that we're truly struggling with. So it's okay to not be okay. Honor the seasons that you're in. And really, after you watch this live, or if you are watching this live, I really want to encourage you guys to get a notebook and write it down. Am I honoring myself truly? Am I honoring myself in my seasons that I'm in? Am I giving myself grace? Am I opening myself up to receive the support and the love that I give so freely? Because it's time for us to analyze ourselves, who we're being and what we're doing and how we're serving ourselves. Because a lot of times we forget that we're just doing and giving. We're missing the emphasis of who we're meant to be and how we're meant to be showing up for ourselves before we can show up for others. So, not staying long because, as you know, live is not my strong suit. But I'm challenging myself to do it and to show up. And I would not feel good if I didn't have integrity to bring this message forward, because like I said, I had this message for weeks. But inshallah, I hope that somebody receives something from this live, and please feel free to leave your comments, DM me after. But I do encourage and challenge you guys to take on that challenge. Please ask yourself, are you honoring yourself? How are you honoring yourself? How are you serving yourself? Do you even know the season you're in right now and what it requires? Because that's important, and that's where mindfulness in our daily life comes into play. Start focusing on more things that are happening for you. Start focusing more on all the things that you can be grateful for. And start opening up yourself to the people that are there for you. Don't be so ashamed. Don't be so closed off. And although I knew that my friends and family loved me and had the best interests for me in that season that I was in, I still decided to just be closed off. And at one point, I wasn't even being expressive to my husband about how I was really feeling. Like, that's how closed I was being, because I didn't want to look weak. I didn't want to seem like I was angry about something that I couldn't change. But in reality, I needed to open up about it. I needed to, so I can receive the support, so I can help myself, so that I can better help her. And so, like I said, I'm going to beat it in. Honor yourself. Honor the season you're in. Be true to who you are. Love on yourself a little harder. And don't be afraid to say no. Sometimes we just got to close the door on giving too much of ourselves to everyone. We have to preserve and reserve ourselves for what we need. And my child is doing something very, very bad. Hey, bro. I can't even wave back. Can I wave back? Oh, there you go. Yeah, my child was doing something, but she secured herself. But yes, so I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope that you guys will give me your feedback, and I will see you guys next Wednesday, inshallah, with a different approach or message. But for this one, I really do hope that you guys soak it in and really take some time to analyze yourself and to start taking necessary steps to honor your highest self and what you need. Assalamu alaikum. Have a beautiful night. Be safe if you're out. I love you guys.